Everybody, welcome into Concrete Jungle, New York baseball podcast here on Finger Lakes One. Paul Russo here with you, Kyle Evans as well. Oh, what a weekend. What a weekend it was for these New York baseball teams. The Yankees hit a new low. The Mets are soaring. Rochester got thumped, and Syracuse clipped the Clippers. So we'll do a spoiler alert right now. I did not watch a lick of baseball this weekend. I was down at Watkins Glen for the race weekend. So, Kyle, I'm dubbing this one more or less like the Kyle Evans special. You're going to be doing a lot of cooking this episode. You ready to be like Steph Curry, just hucking up like 13 threes like in 5 minutes here and just kind of seeing what happens?
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of research. There's like just hundreds of negative stats that have, continued to pour on the Yankees because, man, they've been one of the worst teams in the league. And this weekend, if you're a Yankee fan, just basically what the Red Sox did was officially end the Yankees' playoff hopes. They're pretty much dead. Mathematically, they're still alive, but, let's be real. They're at 60 wins. The third wildcard team has 69 wins, the Mariners. They're not going to catch them with 38 games left.
No. Yeah, it would require some above 500 baseball that the Yankees have not played in quite some time. So, yeah, like I said, I was in Watkins Glen all weekend, so I could only kind of do, even then, like doing and keeping up from afar was a bit of a challenge. So, I'm sure I'm probably going to learn some stuff here today that I really wish I didn't, but oh well.
There's some wild ones.
Part of it, yeah.
Yep.
So before we get any further, I have to thank a couple of our sponsors, like DeSanto Propane. DeSanto Propane is 4 generations strong as a trustworthy family-owned business with unmatched customer service. You can go online at DeSantoPropane.com for more information or call them toll-free at 1-800-752-4574 today. Since 1937, the difference has been DeSanto Propane. And Lincoln Hill Farms, coming out to Lincoln Hill Farms on Saturday, September 16th from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. for Oktoberfest on the farm. Enjoy German style with food, beer, live music, a Stein hoist contest, and plenty of fun fare. You get more information and tickets online at LincolnHillFarms.com. So, as I inadvertently close out the wrong tab, and now we are back, so we're good. Let's begin with the Yankees here, swept by the Red Sox over the weekend in the Bronx. I don't know really where I want to initially kind of tee this off from. So I'll go from perhaps the numbers that obviously you know, Kyle, and that I know that maybe some people don't know. The longest losing streak since August of '95 is now in place with this 8-game skid. And look, frankly, I think the team's kind of bottomed out at this point, right? I don't know what can be done to kind of turn it around, per se. I think I can kind of close the chapter I opened last week a little bit, right? I mentioned how even though they began the week with the Braves and obviously going up against the Red Sox at the end of the week, much like the Mets at the beginning of July or end of June, when I said that I get it's two really good teams, obviously, you have to face. It was a do-or-die week, and the Yankees failed to execute in their do-or-die week this past week, and like you said, Kyle, mathematically it's hard not to maybe close the playoff book just yet, just because of the way the numbers work out in that sense. But I think what we're seeing and what some other numbers are saying, I think it's fair to say, the Yankees' playoff chances are pretty much at or near zero after this weekend.
Yeah, according to Fangraphs, it's 0.5% now. Before the month of August, I believe it was 12. So, the Yankees have won 5 games this month. The Mets have won 8. That just kind of shows you where the teams are heading. And, we keep hearing the same stuff, of course, from the players, from Aaron Boone. But why would they all of a sudden turn it around with 38 games left when they haven't done it all season? And this is their lowest point they've been yet, 4 games under 500. So it's just, they keep reiterating that they're going to turn it around, that they believe in who they have. But, the thing about this losing streak is most of the games, they're not even competitive. And that's what's glaring to me. And like the Red Sox have absolutely handled them. And as Boone said, they've kicked our asses, which is absolutely right. In 9 games this year, they've been outscored 54-24. I mean, this is a Red Sox team that's just 8 games above 500, no powerhouse team, pitching that's struggled, and they're getting outscored that badly by a division rival who's actually in fourth place and now 6 games above them. I mean, there's just so many negative like statistics that have surrounded this team, and I just don't think it's going to get any better. I actually do think this is going to be their first losing season in 31 years. I think they'll go 80 and 82. That's actually what they're projected to go. They're projected to go 20 and 18 over their final 38, and I think that's spot on. I mean, this team hasn't even won more than 5 games in a row all year. So at this point in time, they're going to have to do that if they think they're going to actually still have a chance of making the playoffs. And even to get to 85 wins, they got to go 25 and 13. That's a winning percentage they have not done all year. And then if you want to go bigger sample size, I saw this stat yesterday. Since July 9th of last year, they're 98 and 104. I mean, it goes bigger than just this season. And I don't know also if you saw the stat over the weekend, but did you know in a 4-game span, Julio Rodriguez had as many hits as the entire Yankees offense?
Yeah, that one I did know.
Julio Rodriguez had 22 at-bats. The Yankees had 119.
It's not good.
Yeah, I mean, and you can just go on about, like, they're batting 188 over this 8-game losing streak. They've scored 20 runs in 72 innings. 79 strikeouts. Like, did you know Lane Thomas, who's played in every game this year for the Nationals, has 139 strikeouts? And the Yankees have 79 in 8 games.
Yeah.
Like, that's where we're at right now. But yeah, there's just some stats that I wrote down that's, like, unbelievable. So yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at with this team.
Yeah, I found it interesting because I did think, and the only place where I think I'm going to go against here was I think we finally saw some of the players crack over the weekend comment-wise. Maybe to different degrees, but I thought Volpe's comments post-game yesterday were pretty, not jarring, but they went against the grain of everything that we've heard every other player kind of say at this point, you know, and stuff like that. And, you know, even Boone started off post-game yesterday with a little bit of the pessimism, quote-unquote, that we've been saying, but he hasn't before he kind of went into his usual jargon. So, yeah, I mean, it's weird. I don't know what the expectation should be for them at this point, the rest of the way. Because, let me put it to you this way, right? And obviously we talk about the playoffs, and I don't want to jump too far ahead into the Mets stuff, right? But the Mets are closer to getting a wild card berth than the Yankees are right now, right? And we've written off the Mets for over a month now, probably technically over a month and a half, right? Give or take. So, like, is it even realistic for me to expect that they just even go 500 the rest of the way? I don't think so. And it's something that I want to hold a little bit of what I want to say for when we talk about the Nationals series here, the preview of that. But, you know, I know we talked about it last week a little bit, right? But even, like, the Nationals aren't playing like the quote-unquote Nationals that we think that they are. You know, like,
I have a stat on them.
Yeah, like, I mean, I know they aren't, like, like, a top whatever team since whatever, but, like, they're playing a similar game to what they played in 2019 when they won the World Series, where it's, like, after May 27th or whatever, they're above 500 or something like that, like, where they're playing good enough. So, like, yeah, like, I just, you look at it, like, even from the next 3 games for the Yankees, like, I don't know where they could even get, like, the 2 of 3. Like, and again, I don't want to jump too far ahead. Like, I'd imagine they'd at least get one against Washington, but, like, the numbers just don't support it at this point. They don't. Yeah, I just, like I said, like, for me from afar this weekend, it was like goddamn. Like, and then it's going to be interesting maybe to see in the next couple days what kind of comes of this. But the Red Sox celebrating more or less in the locker room after yesterday, if that doesn't light a fire under somebody's pants in the Yankees, I don't know what will at this point. You know what I mean? Like that, and I don't have a problem with it, but like if you're the Yankees, like you have to find that disrespectful in my mind.
Yeah, I think you said it well. I saw the tweet about it, and it's like, man, the Yankees handled them last year, now they got handled this year, and now they're celebrating in their stadium after, being swept. So it's just like, man, like, is anything ever going to fire this team up? Like, they split a series with Houston, and we hear Bader say it's a momentum boost, and yet they're 2-10 since then. So it's like no matter who they play, what they do positive. Like they hit 3 home runs yesterday. Homering has been an issue for this team. They had been like 38-10 when they hit 3 home runs this year. They erased 3 deficits yesterday. Kept coming back, kept, doing positive things, and they still find a way to lose. And it's just like it's amazing how bad this team has fallen off. And it's not like they've traded away pieces like the Mets have. They have the same team. They have one of the highest payrolls in baseball. Judge is back. But they're falling behind like I don't think any of us could even imagined. Like, yeah, we knew they were struggling this year. But 4 games under 500 now? That's just stuff I've never seen in my lifetime.
Yeah, I mean, it's stuff that I don't think many people on this team thought they'd see anyway, or remotely be close to it. To the point that fans in Yankee Stadium over the weekend they finally snapped on Stanton. And I don't know to much degree how many was it actually Yankee fan, but the fact that Devers hits this home run to lead off a game and there's just like virtually no boos and all cheers it's jarring. Frankly, it's jarring. Let's circle back to something here for a minute. I kind of mentioned Boone. I want to talk about that a little bit. It comes out that prior to the Red Sox series, he had met with the front office, being Brian Cashman, Hal Steinbrenner, and obviously everybody's upset and everything. I wouldn't say it's one of those like everybody's on the same page type situations, but the timing of it to me is just strange how everything kind of came out, and the fact that I wouldn't necessarily say there was a vote of confidence for the rest of the year with Boone, but like I just don't understand the purpose of if you're gonna have this meeting, you're off by like at least 2 weeks, probably more than that, in having that meeting in my mind, and to me it just gives bad signaling. I think it shows the wrong signs to the fan base and to even the players about the direction of this team and what, frankly, the expectation should be of this team by having this meeting and kind of just being, frankly, I don't know, not serious about it in my mind. I don't know how you feel about it, but that was what I took away after reading an article this morning about. It was like it just felt like it was obviously a serious meeting, but it was kind of just like not serious about like what the next step is, right? Like nothing is working clearly, and if it is, it's not going good, or not being efficient in the way it needs to be an efficient process.
Yeah, if Hal Steinbrenner's taking this serious, like I've said over and over again, people have to lose as their jobs. I mean, we're naming stats that haven't been done in 30 years. I mean, how can you bring everyone back at this point? Like, I truly believe Cashman has to go. I get he's, done stuff for the organization that's positive, but I mean, what has he done in the last 10 years, 12 years? Yeah, they've, came 1 win away from a World Series in 2017, but what have they done since then? I mean, I just don't know how, regardless of how shy or whatever the reports have been to make moves, like, Cashman's got to go. I don't know how Boone going is going to really change much. It's the guy that's putting the team together. I mean, look at all these stats I've named. It's because the team is not built correctly. And we've talked about it before the season even started. Yeah, they re-signed Judge, great. Yeah, they brought back Rizzo. But what did they do other than, Rodon on the pitching side? They never got the outfielder that they needed. Like, yeah, injuries have played, but the roster's not built correctly. and I don't think it's ever going to be built correctly as long as Cashman's there. We've seen it. It's a big sample size. The roster has not been good enough to win a World Series clearly, or even make it. So I don't know. If I'm Hal, you have to make moves, and I actually, obviously can't wait for that to happen. That's why, as bad as it's, I keep saying, if they just keep losing, keep going on crazy losing streaks, maybe something will be forced. So yes, I hope they have their first losing season in 32 years, and then Hal will wake up and maybe make that move that we all want.
Yeah, I mean, I keep saying, I go back to this, right? And it's but as long as Cashman's there, it's just going to be another meat shield in the dugout. Nothing will change. There's going to be no whatever. And the part that, frankly, I find disturbing in all this is how, remember preseason, they made a bunch of these front office moves to bring in your Brian Sabians and your Omar Minayas of, not yesteryear, but now all of a sudden, to me, it just feels like it's they just built a fort around Cashman to protect him. You know what I mean? Not actually institute any change. So I don't know. Was there anything else I kind of missed big-wise here? I mean, I know, frankly, it seemed like nothing went right this weekend, to put it bluntly. And even for the moments it did look like it was going to go right, for instance, like yesterday's game, it just went sideways before anything could be done. So I don't know. Like I said, if I missed anything, the floor is yours to go on. But that was my main takeaways from the weekend with the Yankees.
Well, here's one for you. Yankees have not held a lead in 52 innings.
Yeah.
Since they led 2-1 on Monday, actually a week ago now today, in Atlanta, they have not held a lead. So yeah, they did come back 3 times yesterday, but never got the lead. And also another thing that's a big issue with this team is they're never scoring first. And that's a major problem. They're automatically putting pressure, on the offense, who clearly isn't hitting. And obviously Garrett Cole had his first rough start in a long time. So just nothing is just clicking. I mean, it's just a horrible, horrible season. And obviously there's some terrible numbers on some of these hitters. And that's kind of what I also wanted to ask you. At what point are we going to finally see these guys earning call-ups? Right. Jake Bauers and Billy McKinney and Giancarlo Stanton. They're all struggling. I mean, Jake Bauers is 3 for his last 37. Billy McKinney, 7 for his last 41. Harrison Bader, 3 for his last 24. Aaron Judge, 11 for his last 50. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, who was hot, is now 2 for his last 16. I mean, this is why this team isn't scoring runs. And Stanton's troubles date back to further than this. I mean, his average is now 199 this season. And that's a guy that you're relying on, him and Judge, to carry your team. And he's hitting cleanup at times. And he's not producing. I mean, this is why this team has had so much trouble this year. The inconsistent offense. And then, obviously, the pitching can't be perfect every game. And the bullpen, still has the best ERA in baseball. And they're 4 games under 500. So, yeah, I mean, I just pretty much named all the stats that I have. Some that I didn't even realize were as bad as they are. And we'll see how bad this can get.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's interesting, right? Because one of the top things even on the Yankees homepage today was Austin Wells again having a great weekend. So I don't know. Obviously, it's different positionally there, right? But I don't understand why you just don't. Maybe some of these guys figure it out. Maybe with whether it's Pereira or
he's hitting 312.
Florial. Bring back Florial here and see what happens. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know how you can keep running Bowers and McKinney out there when it's been a big sample size. They haven't hit in their last 50 at-bats.
Well, speaking of Billy McKinney, he's our leadoff man today with the roster updates. He's dealing with back stiffness. Can't imagine that's fun anyway, but held out of the lineup yesterday. Was allegedly available off the bench. Obviously, with the Yankees off today, probably won't get an update until tomorrow on him, but there's Billy McKinney for you. Carlos Rodon slated to return tomorrow, Tuesday, and get the start against Washington.
Can't wait.
Good sign, I guess, a little bit here. We'll see what happens. And then Anthony Rizzo was scheduled to take hitting drills on Friday. I didn't see anything saying
Yeah,
that
I never
he
saw him
did,
hit.
so I'm assuming that must mean I'm taking the assumption that he did not, in fact, take hitting drills.
Yeah, I'll see you in February, probably.
All right. Greg Wessert recalled in an option back down to AAA Scranton Wilkes-Barre over the weekend. Presumably, I'm guessing that's for Rodon, the option back,
Yeah.
anyway. So,
Unless they go crazy again and make all these other moves that they keep doing, openers and you name it.
that's right. All right, so for the Yankees, already kind of alluded to it here multiple times over, but they welcome the Nationals here beginning tomorrow on Tuesday. 7:05 first pitch on yes. Josiah Gray, the pride of Lemoyne College. How about that? Did you know that?
I did not,
All right.
but he's pitching well this year.
You're right, the more you know. Against Carlos Rodon, Wednesday 7:05 on yes as well. Mackenzie Gore against Luis Severino, and then 1:05 getaway game on Thursday on yes. Patrick Corbin against to be determined. Obviously, that's the spot that normally is Herman, and once again, the Yankees don't know what they're doing for that spot, which I don't enjoy. And that was the one game I figured, because I just physically cannot trust Patrick Corbin still, that I figured the Yankees would win. I still lean that way, but I think we're looking at a 10-game losing streak by the time the Yankees get a win.
Really?
I think they drop the first two to the Nationals, who are playing decent baseball. They beat the Phillies last night in Williamsport. They're playing good ball. The interesting part's the travel element of this. I know it's whatever, kind of saying whatever, but they went from Philly, right, to Williamsport, and now they gotta go from Williamsport to New York. Obviously, it's all flights, everything, but that's a lot of flying within a day span, more or less. But I'm sticking by my guns. I think the Nationals are playing some pretty good baseball lately. I think they take the first two in the series before the Yankees get one, the rubber match. But the Yankees losing streak, I predict, gets to 10.
Yeah, I don't have the stat yet on when the last time they lost 10, but the last time they lost 9 in a row was 1982. It's been 41 years.
Jesus.
But yeah, you said it well. The Nationals are 21-14 since the All-Star break. That's the third best record in the National League. They've won 3 straight series, beat a Phillies team that, has gone in the right direction since the All-Star break. And yeah, they just got hitters that don't strike out. They're just a contact team that puts the ball in play. And yeah, their bullpen struggles at times, but I mean, Mackenzie Gore, his ERA is not great, but he's a solid pitcher. Josiah Gray is a good pitcher. Corbin, not so much, but we know that. But yeah, I'm hoping they get swept, of course, but I think they'll get one. But I don't think it's going to be that finale. I do think they lose 9 in a row, but then they win that middle game somehow.
So you're not joining me on the 10-game hunt, then? I'm depressed. I figured you'd be all about that with me, having the losing streak get to double digits.
I think Severino's going to struggle again, but I think the Nationals bullpen is going to blow it late.
Yeah, they almost did last night. So
Yeah, in the 9th inning, Jake Cave.
right. All right, let's discuss the greener pastures of New York Met baseball, as they took 3 of 4 against St. Louis in a series that not many things did not go the Mets' way. It seems as though everything kind of went right with them. I did see, because it was a 4-game series, I did see Thursday with them. It looked pretty good overall. Obviously, they got the series opening win there, but after that, it kind of was I'd say kind of like a shotgun shell in a way, where it's like people were peppering all over the place of who had good moments and who, was contributing. Like Vogelbach even contributed this weekend. It was kind of crazy to see. And to kind of, again, maybe close up something we talked about last week a little bit, Kyle, that's what I meant by, like, hey, build those blocks of momentum, keep that going and not knock them down. And I'd say for the Mets over the weekend, that was a mission successful type thing that they were able to do.
Yeah, their offense was putting up runs. What was shocking to me is the bullpen. The bullpen was pretty solid for the most part. And the Cardinals obviously have had a rough year, but the Cardinals still usually make games close, and some of these games weren't even close. So, yeah, I was more impressed with like the bullpen, because obviously that's been the Mets' weakness for the most part. And then you have Vogelbach's grand slam. I couldn't believe it. And then DJ Stewart with another home run in that series. Lindor has 12 hits in his last 4 games, 5 games.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I mean, everything. And Alonso on 39 home runs now. So, yeah, it was just a great weekend in St. Louis. And unfortunately, now they're going to take a step back this week because, you know, the Braves are just a powerhouse team. Although the Giants beat them yesterday. Um, so, positive week, but they're going to fall back.
Mhm. It was interesting too. I thought, like even mentioned the offense, but the pitching for the most part was really great too. I mean, yesterday that was kind of the only true blemish in my mind where Carrasco was even looking good up until the fifth, and then it just kind of went sideways on him. Um, but what can you do? I think too, the thing that I had picked up on too was it kind of seemed like the good vibes were kind of back with that team a little bit um, through the weekend. Everybody seemed, like I said, when you got to build these things right, more jovial. There's a lot more smiles, a lot more, I'd say, banter between them in the dugout type thing, right? Where, I mean, even like Vogelbach was kind of out celebrating even more so than maybe usual that he does. And, it's big. Like I said, that's a big component in my mind of this building block scenario that I mentioned, where um, obviously this year's loss, is what it is, but it doesn't make 2024 a lost season yet either. And that's what I mean by where, you build and build, and next thing you know, you're ready to go for spring training come February with this type of stuff. Um, Pete Alonso, didn't want to mention him. He had an interesting baseball moment, character arc, as we'll call it here, where uh, Cardinals prospect gets called up, Mason Wynn. And admittedly, I didn't know if that was going to be called a hit or not either, right? And we had a moment of where Pete Alonso became the villain, throwing the ball into the stands. Luckily, ball was returned and everything, but Pete Alonso sent over on, I believe it was Saturday, the day after, a signed bat and some tequila for Mason Wynn. Um, it's quite an interesting thing. Baseball is mysterious, as we always talk about, right? Mysterious ways, but something like this was clearly an honest mistake type thing from Pete, right? And he made up for it. But I thought it was a pretty funny thing during the weekend because of like I said, the Mets were playing good, and if something like that happens when they were maybe not doing as great a couple weeks ago, right? We're probably having a completely different discussion about what actually happened, not maybe having a couple laughs about it.
Yeah, I didn't really read in too much into it. I saw the clip of him throwing the ball in the stands. Um, didn't really follow up and listen to what he said post game, but yeah, that's tough. You don't want to ever do that, but it's good that they got the ball back. And congrats to him for his first hit, and hopefully, he goes on to have a really good career.
Yeah, yeah. Well, presume shortstop of the future for the Cardinals anyway. All right. For the Mets too, one thing that I think is pretty interesting. I kind of want to hear your thoughts on it. Maybe as I pose a question to you. I thought this was at the maybe closer beginning part of the year than rather like that this end now, but seeing some of these pitchers really kind of step up in the moment. Obviously, they're showing for the rest of the year, right? But kind of showing for the rest of maybe next year and everything like that. What'd you make of the starts this weekend from the pitchers? Whether it's from Joey Lucchesi, who had a really good outing, obviously, to Jose Quintana, to even Carrasco up until the fifth the other day. Kodai Senga became, I think it was the fifth Japanese pitcher in history and seventh Met rookie pitcher in history to make 150 strikeouts in the rookie year. So a milestone for him. But, the guys pitching staff-wise stepping up this weekend, do you think more or less they're kind of pitching in a show-me type state other than maybe Senga, who we know will be here next year?
Yeah, Quintana, obviously got his first win finally. I remember last week I said to get him some runs, and they definitely did. And yeah, so I think he allowed 2 runs. Lucchesi allowed 2 runs. Senga allowed 2 runs. And yeah, the only, I guess, negative performance was Carrasco, giving up 3 runs. And actually, he pitched in the fifth, but only went 4 innings. But yeah, what hurt him was he gave up 9 hits. He gives up a ton of hits. But yeah, overall, like I kind of said, I was impressed with the pitching. Yesterday, the bullpen did blow it, but it was one specific guy. I believe it was Trevor Gott who gave up 4. So aside from that, like I said, I was impressed with the pitching. I think things were finally clicking together, and that's been the struggle all year. The pitching's good, the offense is not, and finally they got both sides going, and that's why they won 3 of 4.
Yeah. Yep. Definitely. All right, let's do some updating here. Mark Viento is placed on the 10-day injured list with left wrist tendonitis. Yeah, not great. Obviously, was hoping we'd see a lot more of him down the stretch here. Probably not going to be the case, albeit it could depend the day how it really looks for him. But I would imagine this is probably going to be something that the Mets don't rush him back from at this point in the season.
Yeah, it's weird though because it still hasn't seemed like he was playing a ton, and I don't remember exactly how he suffered that injury, but yeah, it's unfortunate because I wanted to see more of him, and I still think they should be calling up other guys, but maybe they will. But right now, 38 games or so left. I think now's the time.
Yeah. Yeah, we're at, what do we got here? Let me do some math. 5 carries on. We're 125 games right now. That puts us at, 38 games. So,
yeah. Just barely over a month left of games. Guys need to start getting called up, even on the Yankees.
Yeah. All right, Josh Walker, the lefty reliever, transferred to the 60-day injured list over the weekend. Outfielder Abraham Almonte selected from Syracuse. Joey Lucchesi, after he made the start, was optioned back to AAA Syracuse. Grant Hartwig also optioned down. Edwin Uceda, who was DFA'd last week, was claimed by the Cubs. Dennis Santana was also designated for assignment. Righty reliever Vinny Natoli was recalled and then also optioned back to Syracuse. Left-hander Adam Kolorik was selected, and Reed Garrett was recalled. So more of the Mets' bullpen train cycle from the Syracuse shuttle going on. But all in all, all those guys pitching-wise who were recalled and sent back down pretty much lived up to the billing of helping the Mets over the weekend. So. Yeah. Maybe there is a method to the madness all of a sudden.
Yeah, I mean, we can't even go a week without all these pitching moves, but that's where the Mets are at, and I think they're going to have a lot of them again over this next week with who they're facing. Right. Probably the bullpen's going to be used a lot again, but yeah, it's going to get pretty tough this week.
Yeah. All right, the Mets, talk about getting tough. Well, tonight, Monday, they begin a series in Atlanta for 3 games. 7:20 tonight on SNY. David Pearson will be going. That's to be determined for the Braves as of a little bit ago. Tomorrow night, Tuesday, 7:20 first pitch, also on SNY. See Tyler Maygill against Bryce Elder, and then Wednesday, 7:20 on SNY or MLB Network, depending upon your market. Jose Quintana against Charlie Morton. Kyle, I do agree with you. Probably will be a rough series for the Mets.
Braves have a starter now, by the way, tonight.
What we got?
Sorry, it's loading.
Oh.
Whoever it is, he's 1-0. Okay. Oh, he's only appeared in 2 games this year. Alan Winans, he's 1-0 with a 1.59 over 11 innings.
Oh, is he the one that pitched against the Mets a couple weeks ago?
Yes, he threw 7 shutout innings. Yeah. Here it is. And then gave up 2 against the Brewers and 4 1/3. So, yeah, small sample size, but, yeah, he pitched well against the Mets. That was 9 days ago.
Yeah, I was about to say. So, I think the Mets lose the series, but I don't think they get swept. I think they play some good enough baseball here through the weekend that I think they're able to kind of bring that magic along a little bit against Atlanta, but I don't think they win the series. I also don't think they get swept. I do think they get one, but look, this Atlanta team, they're good, and I know you said that they lost to the Giants yesterday, but
still 80 wins.
Yes, exactly
Ridiculous.
My point. They're that good for a reason. Yeah, I don't know which day exactly. It's interesting. I think they might win the Tuesday night game where it's Maygill versus Elder. Bryce Elder has not pitched extremely well the past month or so I think that's where the Mets get their win, but that's, I think, the only one they get. But I mean, who knows? Like I said, they've been building the momentum. Maybe they just kind of just continue carrying it. Who knows? But I think as long as they keep playing good baseball, they'll take that. But I think, I think they dropped 2-3 to Atlanta.
Yeah, I don't have. I think they're gonna get swept.
Okay.
Don't really have much more to say on this series. I don't think it's gonna be very entertaining. Um, and pitching's gonna really hold them back.
All right. Do you think Keith has the right polo shirt?
Yeah.
All right. All right. So before we get out of here, let's talk Rochester and Syracuse here. Rochester, not a great week. End up losing 4 straight to Buffalo. While Syracuse, on the other hand, able to dominate against the Clippers through the weekend. Red Wings have fallen to 20-24, 16th in the International League standings in the second half. Syracuse, on the other hand, remains 18th, but they gained in a half game, so not bad there. Do this now before we get to the other stuff. I'm happy to report that Charlotte is now at 8 wins.
Oh my God! So 1 win
Exactly.
over the week.
They're chipping away. Beginning in Rochester, shortstop Yordi Barley was activated. Corey Abbott was optioned from Washington, and Carter Keyboon was recalled. Rochester home this week against the Who Sox. And do you watch The Office at all, Kyle?
I don't.
Okay. Well, Kevin from The Office, Brian Baumgartner, will be there Wednesday.
I do know that name though.
See?
I hear a lot about it.
So, like I said, it should be a pretty good week weather-wise. You can get out to Rochester, go see them take on the Who Sox, or, if not, Syracuse is also home this week. They host Buffalo, so another Thruway Cup series right off the bat, and keeping it going for Syracuse. For them, the shortstop Cesar Berbesi and David Griffin were assigned to Double-A Binghamton. Left-handed Tyler Thomas was assigned to Syracuse from Binghamton, so not a ton of moves there outside of the other ones going on, but pretty good week. Awesome weather for baseball, especially at the end of the week, so hopefully everybody can get out and enjoy. Wasn't anything too crazy over the weekend I saw from, I guess, either team's really outright note, which can sometimes be a good thing in minor league baseball because, usually means stability, for one. And two, everybody's kind of just playing at a good enough clip and everything like that. I know Carlos Cortez hit back-to-back homers, though, for Syracuse in back-to-back games over the weekend. So, Syracuse kind of figuring themselves out a little bit. Rochester, Kyle, unfortunately, hit a little bit of a rough patch. So I don't know about your 500 bet that you have with them coming through, but plenty of ball left. Another month of games worth of stuff coming up here for these minor league teams. And I know that they face each other, I believe, in 2 weeks as well, if my memory serves me right. So, but that's far enough down the line, I guess, on that to put a bow on that for now.
Yeah, and I did see that Rochester faced Bo Bichette for 2 or 3 games when he was rehabbing. So, yeah, I mean, not what you want to lose 4 straight, but when they get Syracuse later this month, or probably next month now, they have a good week. They might be back to 500.
You never know. It's the beauty of baseball. So, that will take care of Concrete Jungle for today. We will be back, not Thursday, but Friday this week. At what time did we decide on?
11.
My memory sucks right now.
11 a.m.
All right, 11 a.m. Friday for the late week edition of Concrete Jungle. Kyle, just a week of baseball ahead for you, or are you really kind of hammering down here as we are wrapping up de facto week 2 of NFL preseason?
Oh, I'm ready for the regular season to begin. But yeah, just basically baseball every night still. I still enjoy the games. I mean, I am still rooting for the Mariners. They just swept Houston. That was huge. In the 3rd wild card spot now, and believe it or not, I don't know if you've checked the standings. Probably not because you're busy, but Seattle's only 3 out of the division now, behind Houston and Texas. So, I mean, just imagine that story if they end up winning that division somehow.
The Mariners are cooking.
And the NL wild card race is still jam packed. Marlins, Reds, Diamondbacks, Cubs, even the Giants. They've struggled a bit. So yeah, that thing is pretty tight. I would say in 38 games to go, it's gonna come down. I think probably to the final week. So there's still some interesting things to follow around the league.
Definitely. It's the beauty of this time of year. So appreciate everybody for tuning in, listening, or watching wherever you can. And like I said, not Thursday this week, Friday, 11 a.m. That's when we'll be back, and we will talk with everybody then.